A viewing of Pope Francis's body began today in St. Peter's Basilica, days after the pontiff died of a stroke at the age of 88 on Easter Monday. The pontiff's funeral has been set for Saturday at 10 a.m. in St. Peter's Square. The Pope is being remembered as a progressive leader whose approach helped usher in a new era of Indigenous relations. Joining us now from the Manitoba Métis Federation is President David Chartrand. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Tell us how you felt when you found out that Pope Francis had passed away on Easter Monday.
Well, I was quite shocked and actually quite sad. I'm Catholic and I pray at night, and so I was praying during his time in the hospital that he come out still, and because he's definitely one of a kind Pope. And when I was so happy when I heard he was back at the Vatican and he did the Easter prayer. Not to a full extent, but you could see that he was out, and then I heard, then in the morning I actually walked to the TV and I seen the bottom inscription stating that the Pope had passed. So I was very sad. I just sat down and I couldn't believe it. And so I guess there was but again, I'm a strong believer, and it was during Resurrection Week on Jesus Christ. So for him to die at that particular time or to leave this world at that particular time is probably a very powerful message to the Catholics.
Mm-hmm. And in 2022, thank you, the Pope apologized for the legacy of the residential schools in Canada. David, you had a chance to meet with the Pope in Rome. What did he mean to you?
Well, first his smile. I'll never forget his smile and his laughter. He joked with me and made fun of my nervousness. But what was touching to all of us, there was 50 delegates of the River Métis that went, and a lot of them, of course, strong Catholics in my cabinet. During COVID, he shook everyone's hand. That was not planned. It was not, in fact, part of the rollout of the meeting that we're going to have with him. But he wanted to shake everybody's hand, and he had a hard time mobility-wise. But overall, he sat there and listened to all of our elders speak. I spoke about our history and with the Catholic Church, but also some of the challenges we face with the Catholic Church, but our strong belief yet in the Church. So, but for him to do that was touching, and a lot of people shed tears. A lot of them actually felt that their teardrops were falling on his hands, and because they couldn't believe that he would shake their hands during COVID.
And that moment when the Pope said sorry, what do you feel that did for thousands of residential school survivors?
Well, for the tens of thousands, he's very clear. For him to come all the way, let's not forget he wasn't in the best of health. He could have apologized from St. Peter's at the Vatican, from St. Peter's in his morning prayers, and he could have done it there. But he actually came all the way here and into our soil and to make it real. And he's the only Pope that ever apologized, but he's the Pope that really sets the pathway for the future for the Vatican itself. I can't see a Pope in the future trying to evade that now. That the responsibility, admittance of the Vatican and the Pope itself all the way there was somewhat to blame, or some responsibility on what was allowed to happen in the horrific history that we all know about now. But for him to come personally, to come and be there with the people, see the people, meet with so many people, I couldn't believe it that he. Firstly, I was so happy he came. I was just ecstatic about it, because I thought he'd never come, because everybody's talking about his health, and he still came. And so I hope people will always appreciate that.
David, thank you so much for your time, and condolences as well.
Thank you very much.